got my first fight, beat the guy in 15 seconds. I was like, okay, that was fun. That was nice. That felt good. We took another fight maybe a couple of weeks later and knocked the guy out in 7 seconds. And then from that point on, I was like, all right. I went 5-0 as an amateur. I've had 4 finishes. Only one fight that went to decision. This past August, I turned pro, and right now I'm 1-0 as a pro. Looking to be 2-0.
Okay.
So yeah, December 18th.
I want to talk a little bit more about like Victory MMA and the legacy that's been kind of built there by your father, but also because of you, because now you're a fighter. Like, talk a little bit about that and like what that means to you, that whole gym, the community there, and what it means to Colorado Springs.
So when it comes to the gym, do you guys plan on having you take over eventually? Welcome to the Colorado Springs Business Podcast, where we discuss business principles and provide real-life insight into the lives of everyday business owners and entrepreneurs. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe or leave a review wherever you might be listening. Now, let's talk business. Yeah, I didn't even know about how all that worked. I didn't know what the amateur versus the pro. Can you tell us a little bit what that process is like? How do you get pro?
So, I mean, it's not too much of a complicated process. It's not, a lot of people, they think like, you have to sign paperwork, obviously, but it's nothing too big. You can turn pro right away. It's not the smartest thing because you don't have that time to develop your skills, but it's possible. But yeah, the rules change a little bit. So in the amateur, in Colorado, you can't knee to the head or elbow or throw any type of elbows. But obviously in the pros, anything goes. But yeah, it's a smooth transition. You let the promoter know that now you're looking to become a pro fighter. They'll get you some more pro fights, and you go from there. But that's when your record counts. That's when you start because you can go 10-0 as an amateur. As soon as you turn pro, all that you start over again. So you're 0-0. So yeah, that's the process. That's the whole process, and trying to build up on that and try to get to the big show. Everybody wants to say either the UFC.
So does each state have their own pro?
They don't have their own pro, but each state, they do have their own like a couple of different rules that they have under the commission. Like I said, there's some states in the U.S. to where amateurs can throw elbows and knees, but I don't think it's smart because you're only an amateur. You're not getting paid, so why take that type of punishment if you're not getting paid? But Colorado, they're one of those cool states where they keep their fighters safe and they'll only allow it once you're a pro.
Yeah.
It's exciting, man. So let's peel back a little bit for our viewers who haven't seen previous episodes with like your dad. Tell us a little bit more about like your story, how you came into MMA and so on and so forth, about Victory MMA as well.
Yeah, I mean, Victory MMA has been in the family since 2009. That's when my dad opened up the gym. I started off wrestling since I was 5. I was a good wrestler. Like, I didn't lose until I probably hit like middle school. So I started out in the little leagues. Then after that, I fell in love with football more. So then I started playing football. Once I got to high school, that's when I stopped wrestling. And everybody would always ask me, hey, are you going to become a fighter like your dad? I would tell them, like, no, like, I'm not really into getting punched in the face or, stuff like that. I'm trying to go ball out. I have these sweet feats on me, so I, put a juke move on everybody. So that was my goal, was to go play college ball. And I thought I was going to be, the number 1 draft pick in the NFL draft. That didn't quite happen. So I graduated high school. COVID hit. I was supposed to go out to a JUCO out in California. It was called LA Harbor. It was a little JUCO, but like I said, COVID hit in 2020. And I asked my dad, I was like, hey, my dad, he told me there's nothing going on. You want to take a fight? And I was like, sure, fine. Yeah, I'll take a fight. And I would tell him like jokingly, like, yo, I'm ready to get a fight. Give me a fight. He didn't take me for real until I started pushing it more. Got my first fight, beat the guy in 15 seconds. I was like, okay, that was fun. That was nice. That felt good. We took another fight maybe a couple of weeks later and knocked the guy out in 7 seconds. And then from that point on, I was like, all right,
there's something here.
Yeah, there's something here. So I'm a ride with this wave and see how far it takes me. And so far it's been going good ever since, and I don't regret any moments.
Nice.
I'll do it over again if I could.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, with those, what do you think attributes to being able to, is that common to knock people out that fast?
We'd like to take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Planet Duck. Let me tell you what, these guys,
they've got some powerful equipment. Their fleet of air duct cleaning trucks are equipped with some of the most powerful vacuums you've ever seen. I mean, these whole trucks, the entire truck, is one giant vacuum itself. With their expertise and equipment, they not only get the job done, they get the job done right to maximum efficiency. And you don't want to be breathing in nasty air from having dirty air ducts or having inefficient airflow, so get your ducts clean with Planet Duct right now. Visit planetduct.com. If you're from Colorado Springs, then you've probably seen our next sponsor driving up and down Academy or at any of their other 3 locations here in Colorado Springs and in Pueblo. El Super Taco has authentic Mexican food with locally sourced and fresh veggies and meat that is chopped daily. Be sure to check them out next time you're hungry and mention the podcast too. I mean, we don't got a code for you, but definitely mention it. Power Tool Safe has a vision to help fight against theft. They've developed technology to help you keep proper records and are building a community of awareness around stolen goods. Sign up today for a free account and register up to $10,000 in tools and equipment. No credit card required. It's as easy as setting up a Facebook account. Imagine having a team of marketing professionals working for your business, making sure that you get the awareness and sales that you deserve. Well, that's exactly what you get with Recon Marketing. With up to 35 plus years in experience and 10 million plus in managed budgets, they know exactly what it takes to put you on the radar. And our final sponsor is my company, Vehement Visuals. We produce videos with passion and strong meat. Our goal is to innovate and push the boundaries of what's possible when it comes to creating powerful visuals that drive results, whether that be in business or in life. We have the production power to produce any kind of visuals you want, from documentaries to YouTube videos to social media content, commercials that are designed for television, 3D animations, and so much more.
I don't think it's common, like, especially not in their, like, not on people's, like, first 2 fights. Like, you see guys, you know, a lot of the times in their first 2 fights, they'll maybe go, like, the whole rounds because they're not used to being in that atmosphere. But, I mean, I just kind of, every fight that I go into, I kind of just humanize a person, like, just to stop myself from, like, you know, getting overwhelmed or getting super amped. I'm like, okay, this guy, he can get punched the same way I could get punched. He can bleed the same way that I bleed. So I just try to humanize my opponents and tell them, like, they're not a god. So I just got to do what I know I can do. And I know that if I, you know, I always tell myself if I were to lose, you know, nobody's going to hate me. Everybody's going to still love me, still be in my corner. So, but yeah, that's just how it goes. But that's, I mean, I wouldn't say it's not normal because you see it a lot though, like getting finishes that fast. But like, I was not predicting that I was gonna be one of those guys. I hear it all the time. A lot of these people, like a lot of my training partners, they tell me like, "Hey, yo, Elijah, like, I'm still like, and I'm young too. Like, I'm only 20 that we talked about before we started. I just turned 20 back in September. So, yeah, to see how far I've grown in these past like 2 years, it's crazy. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy ride.
And you never had any did you train growing up with your dad? Obviously your dad was pro as well.
Yeah, I had like a little bit of training, but it was more like just like jiu-jitsu and wrestling. I didn't really I always like joke around saying like I always been had hands. Like like if somebody tells me I could put the paws on them, but I would hit the bag a little bit, hit mitts with my dad here and there, but it was nothing like serious. It was nothing like I didn't have any kickboxing, and I didn't have any like real boxing experience under my belt. So the only thing that really did help me, thank God, is that I started off wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was probably the best thing because I already know what it's like to be on the ground. So,
but you're knocking them out before you even get to the ground.
Yeah, that was a crazy thing. So like once I started knocking the guys out, I was like, you start falling in love with your hands.
Okay, yeah.
You start believing more in your hands and your power. Cause I mean, like I said, when you're an amateur and you're hesitant, like those first fights are like you don't know what you're capable of yet until you start opening up and you start doing what you've been training.
Yeah. So with the pro, like what does that look like? How do you start? How do you grow as a pro? How do you? What's the next step? I guess you could say.
So when you become a pro, you start understanding your fight IQ has to be up to par. That's the one thing that the difference between being an amateur and being a pro is that your fight IQ is like totally different. You start understanding the movements. You start understanding how to set people up with punches or kicks. You start understanding when to throw a punch or shoot for a takedown. You can't just go out there and brawl. I mean, you can, but 9 times out of 10, you see, if you look at the stats with guys who just go out there and just swing and bang, you got a 50-50 chance. You're either getting knocked out or you're going to get knocked out. So just being smart and protecting your body a lot more. I mean, the training stays the same. It's just you just amplify it a little bit more, because it's now, if you want to make it to the big leagues, you want to make it to the UFC, your record really starts mattering. That's why people, I mean, I've had guys turn me down, and I don't blame them, because I'm a young cat, and these guys are probably like 28, and that once you hit around like 28, 29, maybe 30, they start, I mean, that's around your prime, but like if you're still on the local scene, you're like slowly running out of time to make it, because like, well, yeah, once you hit like 33, 34, they, as a fighter, they look at you as being old.
For sure.
So like back to what I was saying, like when guys turn me down, like they're trying to build up their record, because you take a loss and say you're 32 and you take a loss, that's like a major setback. So I think that's one of the differences, one of the major differences between amateur and pro, is that your record really matters on making how much money you make, and also how far you get in the fight game.
That's awesome. One thing that I know from watching and being such a big MMA fan for all these years is that a lot of fighters are now starting not to spar going up to training. What are your thoughts on that? Do you spar?
Yeah, we spar every Friday. Every Fridays. Like last night, we actually sparred. My sparring is a little different. Sometimes I can go with the same guy all 3 rounds, 3 5-minute rounds of sparring. Or what we did last night, we had 3 fresh guys come in every round. So but yeah, I still spar, because I understand that people are trying to protect their body, and
yes.
But we're not going in there to kill each other. So that's number one. That's number one in our understanding of what we're doing here. We're not trying to, nobody's getting paid on sparring nights. There's no crowd, you feel me? There's no contracts being signed, no belt on the line. So we're not going out there to, kill each other. But you will feel like there is going to be like a quick little pop, okay? You're going to feel this pop 1, 2. Because how else are you going to build up on your reaction? That's I've seen, what's his name? Yair Rodriguez. I think he's the one that says he doesn't really spar much. I mean, if it works for you, I don't knock on it.
Good on you, right?
Yeah. If it works for you, great. But I'm a little different. I need to feel like I'm somewhat simulation of a fight, of a real fight, because that's the only way I'm gonna build up on my reactions and start feeling comfortable with my combinations and actually being hit. Some guys, they get hit and that rattles them. They're like, yo, I haven't got hit all training camp, and the one time they go into the fight where it's fight night, now they're like shook because they don't know how to recover off of it, or they don't know how to take a hit.
Yeah.
So true. That's what Mike Tyson says. He's like, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
do you get used to that? Do you get used to getting hit in the face, or is that something that you get used to? Okay.
You just it's one of those things you just accept it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wants to get hit in their face. Nobody wants to get kicked, but it's just one of those things. Once you tell yourself, you want to do MMA, or when you sign the contract, you're just like, all right, I accept this. I know it's going to happen. Everybody gets hit. Just how do you react off of getting hit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes me think of, when like you're about to puke.
Yeah.
Like, and you just try to stop yourself. Like you're just preventing yourself. Like you're holding it back, and you're like, if you just puke, you'd feel better.
Yeah.
So
you
it's
just let it happen.
You never get used. I've never gotten used to that though.
I hate actually puking. Like I feel like my heart. Like it hurts my heart. I'd just be like, oh.
I'll try everything to not puke for as long. Like sometimes, like I ate something bad. It's like you really just need to puke.
Yeah.
And after you puke, it's gone. Though like all our viewers are turning off now because we're talking about puke though. So.
Yeah. I'm saying. But yeah, no. Like I said, like getting punched or getting kicked is just one of those things that you just accept.
For sure.
I mean, especially if you want to get bigger, start fighting tougher guys, make more money. You're going to get hit. You're going to get punched. But how well do you take that punch? I mean, that's just what it is. That's the outcome of fighting, you know. We don't do this. I mean, a lot of people, they say we don't play fight, or we don't play fight, you know. We don't play football, we don't play basketball, which is cool.
Yeah.
I hate that, because when I play football, my dad used to always tell me that we don't play fight. I'm like, man, I don't.
What do you mean by that?
Like, it's just a little inside joke of like, we don't play. Like when you say like, hey, I play football.
Oh, I get you. Yeah.
A fighter, fight player.
Yeah, they're not players. They're
baseball player,
competitors.
So they say like, fighters. We don't. There's no playing around going in the cage. Like it's mano a mano. You're about to just slug it out. So I mean, that's the little inside joke behind that, though.
And so, do you like to refer to it as like, you like to consider it as you're having fun and playing as well too?
I mean, yeah, I do. I like to. I mean, if you're not having fun, then why are you doing it?
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, then why are you doing it?
I agree. Yeah.
I mean, now what I would say, or what I will say, is that fight night is probably one of the most nerve-wracking, anxious. Like you get this feeling like you're about to go into something. You're about to do something dangerous. You understand what you're about to do. So, and then you have your family. You're
performing.
Yeah. You have your family. Everybody's looking at you, because it's just you. It's 3 people in the cage. You, your opponent, and the ref. I mean, it's just you're thinking of a million things that could happen. If you get knocked out, choked out, maybe if you lose, win, how you gonna celebrate? You just want to go out there and just perform at your best, and obviously come out, victorious, but not only victorious, but healthy. I mean, every fight is just so like, you get this like I don't know how to explain it, but this feeling in your stomach, you're like,
I think I know the feeling, a similar feeling, but it's like, they say that public speaking is like one of the biggest fears, but it's like, you're public speaking and you're going to fight.
Yeah.
So it's like you're doing 2 very fearful things on top.
Under the lights, I mean, you can see people, I mean, just go out there and fight, and they're like so like stagnant. They're not good with their movement like how they are back in the gym. So under the lights, under the lights, that pressure can kill people easily, really easily. I mean, the only time I probably had that same feeling is when I played football and I was a punt returner.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're the only guy back there. If you drop the punt, everybody's gonna everybody's gonna crash on you. Or say you catch the punt and you don't fair catch and you get smoked. A lot of things are running through your mind, but you just gotta. What I always tell myself, like I said, I humanize my opponents, and I tell myself, if I go out there and do my best, we can only grow from this, And, even if I do win or lose, my family, my friends, they're still gonna love me. And I'm gonna come back in the gym, and we're just gonna get right back to it.
That's so great. We talked about this on previous. I do a festival for a living, and I've talked about like that fear going into it. You're like, the morning of. The you're like, I hope people come.
Yeah.
And like you have this huge fear, but somehow like you kind of have to like release it to the fact of like, what's the worst that could happen? Like you're talking about, like, I lose.
Yeah.
You're still gonna have your family that loves you. Everybody that's around you is still gonna support you. Like
the world keeps going. Like the world keeps going.
Right.
And you can see like when people even and it's sad to say, but like even when like you pass on, the world keeps going. The world doesn't stop. So that's what I like to say is, it's short. You gotta have short-term memory in this fight game. If you sit here and dwell on one loss, or that's gonna hold you back for the rest of your life or the rest of your career. So you just keep moving on. Short-term memory.
Yeah.
Good grief, that's crazy. So you, what weight do you fight at again?
I started off fighting at 145, which is a featherweight. But then once I turned pro, I went down to bantamweight, which is 135.
Yeah.
So I walk around probably on a good day like 155, maybe 156, and then once I get to maybe like the week before weigh-ins, I'll get down to 145, and then from 145 I'll do that week of the fight week, I'll do my heavy cutting. And what I do for like cutting, it's called water loading. So obviously you're doubling up on your water intake. High protein, because protein is easy to burn, and cutting off cutting off carbs, and then fight week you want to cut out all sodium, so salt, all that, everything starts getting really plain, and that's the hardest part about fighting to me. And actually, not to me, but to like if you talk to any fighter, it's not the fight, it's not the training, it's the weight cut. You see a lot of guys lose their fights just on the scale to where like they can't compete. And you see it even in the UFC, like there's been guys who like they pull the doctor pulls them because they didn't have a good weight cut. It was starting to, guys start having liver damage, and
damn,
yeah, it gets bad. But luckily, I mean, I have a dad, so I know how to. I have a dad who's been there and done that.
He's got like a nutritionist degree, right?
Yeah, exactly. He has a bunch of degrees. Like he has 2 master's degrees.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be a personal trainer at 24 Hour Fitness, and obviously he has his own gym. He used to be in the UFC on the Ultimate Fighter. So this guy, I mean, my dad, he's like I said, he's been around the block. He knows what he's doing. But also, I do my own research as well. Sure. I like to learn off of different athletes and see how they, how they do their process on cutting weight. There's a lot of things that I still need to learn. Like I said, I'm still young, so I have a lot of room to grow. So
that's interesting too, because you're so young, and I could only imagine. I mean, you still have some girth to add to. You're only 20. Usually a man doesn't get like their actual like thickness
their man
as a man.
body.
Man body until they're in probably mid 20s, later 20s. So you might have to deal with battling that, or potentially move up in weight class.
I've already talked about it. I mean, 135 is like maybe is good now, but I mean, we'll see where my weight, if my man body comes in, we'll see where my weight is, and then obviously bump up, because I know there's only a couple more fights in me at 135.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm a big guy, but like 135 is still a little bit of, I mean, that's a 20-pound cut, and that's still like it can be draining. Like my last fight, I had a good weight cut, but like I had to like mentally like dial in. And I actually did it a lot of the times. This past fight, I actually did my weight cut alone. Because my dad, he had some guys fighting the night before my fight,
man.
And my fight was in San Antonio. So my dad coached the guys who were fighting up in Denver, and then he came the next day to coach me in my fight. So yeah, I did it on my own, did it the right way, make sure I had a good rehydration, because a lot of guys forget or don't know how to rehydrate the proper way. And my first time cutting weight, I was hurting, because like once I hopped on the scale, I started going crazy, eating all the foods, drinking all the liquids. You can't do that because there's no acids in your stomach. It's like it's like taking a wet towel and you're wringing it out. That's what you basically do when you're water loading and cutting weight. You're trying to cut out all that water weight. And I understood that this time around. I looked up, I researched, the best way to rehydrate is, drinking like drinkable meals like Ensures or like protein shakes. Obviously you want the water, and Pedialyte for, get the sodium back, so your body can trap that water inside. But
I've heard something. I'm looking into like keto stuff right now, so like fasting and all that stuff. Like there's something called keto flu, is where it's like basically you feel like flu symptoms from like getting in ketosis, and it's probably some similar symptoms you feel when you're cutting. And they say activated charcoal can help with against the keto flu, quote unquote.
That's something new. That's something new. I've never heard that one before.
And that would make sense, because it would absorb, it would hold on to the water, or something. I don't know exactly, but for the keto specifically, that stuff, for when you're doing like a fast, or trying to get into ketosis, they said the people that I was listening to, they said when they did the activated charcoal, like they had no symptoms of like feeling crappy after cutting.
Like there would be times where you're just sitting in the sauna. You're sitting in the sauna. You got your sauna suit on, obviously. You got your sweet sweat, and sweet sweat is like almost this. It's like a lotion kind of, but it opens up your pores and makes you sweat more. So you're just sitting in the sauna. A lot of times you're like, man, I want to stop. I could just stop now, But with being pro, you miss weight.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
It is a
big deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're like, yo, this guy's about to take half my purse. Like, and then not only that, if you keep doing it, the promoters, they don't forget. So they'll stop, like, finding you fights. They'll stop taking you for real. And then once word gets around town that, yo, this guy, he can't make weight, they'll bump you up to the next weight class. Like, hey, we're not going to schedule a fight at 135 until we see that you can consistently make weight at 145. So, I mean, that's just how the game goes, because you're almost messing up their money at that point.
Oh, it's a big deal. I mean, if you think about, and I don't know if you know too much about horse racing, but they have this thing called the paddock. And before horses race, that they'll walk this little courtyard before they go into the arena.
Yeah.
And depending on how much energy the horse has, even if it's a favorite or not, people will wait till bet, depending on how the horse looks when it's coming out of the paddock. So if they're all pumped and ready to go, they're like, okay, that horse, it's ready to go.
About to, yeah,
but if it's kind of slumped down and looking like it's tired and things like that, they're not going to bet on. It's the same thing with fighters that they're seeing now in the UFC. It's they go in and they do the weigh-ins. They show the weigh-ins now, and they're having to be carried over to the scale. This guy, how you going to recover before the fight?
Not only that, but that almost when, as a fighter, if you see your fighter, he had a bad weight cut, oh, we're looking at a full course meal. We're like, this guy, tomorrow night he's gonna be sluggish. He's already hurting now. He's gonna come in. The only problem with that is that we already know that he's probably gonna be a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's the only problem. But you'll beat him with your conditioning. Oh yeah, you'll beat him with your technique. He'll just be in the slump. I mean, a lot of guys in the what's his name? When Charles Oliveira, he fought for the title when he fought Justin Gaethje, and he had that little weight cut,
half pound over.
Yeah, that half pound over. I thought to myself, I was like, once I seen that, I was like, oh, Justin Gaethje got him.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I was like, dang, he got him. But little did we know, he didn't. So I mean, it all depends on how the fighter is, how he feels. If he's been putting in the work, going at it, the outcome can always change. It only takes one punch as well, especially in the fight game. It's always one punch.
It could be a permanent punch too.
Did you watch the Adesanya fight?
Oh yeah,
dominating all 5 rounds.
That's the one we watched.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dominating all 5 rounds or all 4 rounds. Right. Basically 5 rounds. He was dominating.
Oh yeah.
Then bam, got hit with that left hand, that left hook. It only takes one shot. Only takes one shot.
Gosh, that's so crazy. Well, let's peel it back a little bit, because I want to talk a little bit more about Victory MMA and the legacy that's been kind of built there by your father, but also because of you, because now you're a fighter. Talk a little bit about that and what that means to you, that whole gym, the community there, and what it means to Colorado Springs.
I think it's nice to have a well-known gym down in the southeast side of Colorado Springs. Victory MMA. I mean, like I said, this gym has been in the family since 2009. A lot of these guys, we get that come in. Some of them don't know anything about MMA. Some guys, they have a little bit of background, but it's just so cool to see a bunch of different guys coming in and just training, and we're just getting it in, just working hard, we're all trying to achieve the same goal. So, we're all pushing each other there. You see guys, the one guy, his name is Dylan King, and
he gets his haircut right down the hall.
Yeah. We've been training together for this past few years. And he's been one of my best training partners. Really learning off of him. We learn off of each other. We see each other do a couple of different tricks or a couple of different moves. We're like, okay, I'm gonna take that in my back pocket. So we're always learning off of each other. You also don't even have to, for Victory MMA, it's one of those gyms. I get it. It says Victory MMA, so everybody always asks, do I have to be an MMA fighter? No. If you just want to come in and just get a cool little boxing workout, or if you just want to hit the bag a little bit. Or get a quick little lift in, the gym is all yours. You don't have to be an MMA fighter. To be honest, most of our members that are there are just regular people looking just to get a nice workout, just want to learn something new, do something new. They're not trying to take it to, the next level, which I think is great, Not everybody has to be, an MMA fighter, or you don't have to come from this come from an MMA background to come to the gym. Like, no, you can if you've never done it before. Like, we had a guy who's his name is Dave McIntosh. He was a track athlete. He never did any type of MMA before, but he came in, he started doing, jiu-jitsu a little bit, started coming to the, the kickboxing classes, the boxing classes. And then we started seeing, he was actually pretty good. I mean, he's only 23 as well. So he was like, hey, yo, he asked to, get a fight. He came in, got a fight, and now he's 3-1.
What?
So
okay, that's awesome.
For a guy, like I said, to, not have any type of MMA background, like I said, you don't have to have an MMA background to come in.
Mm-hmm.
2, if you just want to come in and get a good workout, that's the place to be.
Yeah.
And it's well known. I mean, my dad, he's made it to where, everybody likes to come in and make it. It almost feels like a family environment.
Mm-hmm.
You know everybody knows you. It's just a great environment. So yeah. We also even have guys like go out to, they probably train out in New Mexico, and then they come back to us like on their breaks, and it's it's just good to have good old faces come back to you and always like remember where they started out from.
Yeah. And if there's fighters that are in town or something, that's a good gym for them to
exactly
to keep up at.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I do want to, hopefully, I want to make it obviously to the big leagues, to the UFC, and, we can start getting the gym put out there even more, getting a bigger space, or just, getting, making Victory MMA become one of those big main gyms that you see around, especially in the MMA world. But, cause we have a lot of guys, a lot of killers, who come from this gym, and we're not a big gym. So a lot of people, they don't understand like what's going on in Victory MMA until they come.
Yeah. So
I love to put that image out like, hey, yo, if you want to become an MMA fighter and you want to be successful, you can do it here, right here in little Colorado Springs, you know, because a lot of guys, they travel up to Denver, they go to these bigger gyms. And like, sometimes you don't need to go to a bigger gym.
No, for sure.
I mean, you go to a bigger gym. The only difference is that there's probably gonna be just more guys. That's about it. But they're all gonna be doing the same thing. So I mean, that's just my philosophy on that.
Not only that, but you also have a music career. Do you want to speak a little bit about what's going on with that?
Yeah. So I'm having by the time end of December, I'll be dropping an EP. But yeah, I've been recording at my house, recording at my at-home studio, getting some work. I also been going to my friend's studio. His name is Ethan, and we just been recording, going in, making sure that these songs are as crisp and good sounding as possible. Like I always want to. That's why it takes a lot of time for me to drop music. My dad always gets on me about it, but I'm like, yo, like I want these songs to be perfect. Like they have to be perfect, and you see that in a lot of like artists. They'll have songs from like 2-3 years ago that they already recorded, but then they'll end up dropping it, like 3 years after they recorded it, because they're just going back and editing, trying to make sure everything is perfect. And not only that, but making sure that they're dropping it at the right time. So, I mean, I started music when I was, I really started getting into music since I was a sophomore in high school. My friend Elijah, R.I.P., he passed away, but he got me into the studio with his uncle, and we just started recording. And I was like, dang, I was like, yeah, I'm digging it. So I started getting better with my rhyme schemes and my writing. I started getting better with that, and once I started going to the studio, I was like, yeah, I want to learn how to produce myself. One, it just saves money. One, that saves money. Sure. And 2, it's just cool to say, like, when somebody comes up to you, be like, dang, who makes and master this? I did that myself. That was me. And then after that, you start getting, I want to be able to, record people as well. Because, there's some people out there that don't have that, the access to a studio.
Yeah.
So I would love to,
It's a huge learning curve, too. So a lot of people don't even know where to start when it comes to that.
Yeah, exactly. So not only helping myself, but helping, whoever wants to, hop in the music industry and, just come up. I love music because you could be so creative with it. It's your own style, it's your own flavor. So that's what that's what I'm trying to do. Also with the fighting game, it's a good mixture to promote both. At the same time with my fighting and the music career. I've walked out to my songs before.
That's awesome.
So
Nice,
yeah,
yeah.
almost like a Roy Jones Jr. type of feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, it gets me hype. I listen to all my songs every day just to remind myself like, okay. 'Cause sometimes I tend to forget like, yeah, I don't want to boost my boost my head up, but I'm like, okay, I make some good music, And a lot of people, when you tell them like, hey, I make music, they look at you, they're like, do you really?
Yeah, I get that feeling.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, hold on, just wait. And then you play them a song, they're like, oh, this is actually this a good song. Like I could hear this being played on the radio. So I mean, I love seeing people's reaction. I think that's something I want to start doing. If I ever get into the podcast world, I want to just start getting people's reactions on my songs. I think that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
You see a lot of people go crazy with like reaction videos and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. There's that thing about like when you're showing someone your music too, and it's like they're talking the whole time.
You're like,
it's like, no, wait for this part. Wait for this part.
Hold on, wait. This is the best part. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, shh. All right, you just missed it. But yeah,
and they don't hear it the way you hear it either. Because like when you produce it and you make it all yourself, you're hearing every small little detail, and they're not hearing that. They're hearing just like the surface. Like
there's stuff like I do, like I love to harmonize.
Yeah.
And people don't. That's probably like my favorite thing to do. So every time I do it in my songs, I'm like, just shh. And just listen to what I just did in this song. And like you said, they don't hear it. Sometimes they don't hear it like we do. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go back, we're gonna listen to this, and you're gonna hear it, and then you're gonna give me your opinion and tell me what you want, or tell me how you like it. But yeah, this that's probably the thing that making music, when I make music, is like almost an escape from the world. It gets me in a place to where I feel comfortable, I feel free. It relaxes me, really. Nothing is better than just sitting there and listening to. I listen to a lot of instrumentals, so I listen to a lot of instrumentals, or I listen to a lot of songs just to get like a idea. If I hear something like, oh, I actually like that. Let me try using that preset, or let me try using these this different like harmonizing vocals. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy and complex.
You can get inspiration from other one way I would like to like come up with like original like not just rhyme schemes, but like I guess you could say melodies or the way things flow, is if you like just say a sentence and you take that sentence and you break the syllables down, and it'll give you like, and then you just build up. It's like a really reverse engineering kind of way to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I don't even write. Sometimes I just go in there and we like to call it just punching in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just punching in. 'Cause sometimes like I just be so in the mood to like just record something. Then I'm like,
that's how most of Juice WRLD stuff is. If you listen to it, you can hear it.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne the same way too.
Yeah, it's so crazy, and I love doing it that way. Obviously I like writing a little bit more, but like I said, sometimes I just get into the mood of like, yo, I feel like I need to record right now, and then I'll just open up the computer, open up a free tab, and just go straight into it.
Yeah,
find the instrumental that I like, obviously pay for the beat, and just bam, go for it. Just go for it.
Yeah, sometimes like I've done both, where it's like I'm writing and I'm spending a lot of time on a song, and I've done it where it's like we're just creating something real fast, or not even real fast. I just want to create or something.
Yeah.
And towards when I started like doing music less, I was doing it more that way, where I was just punching in things, and I actually wish I would have taken more time with a lot of my songs. So I'm glad that you are doing that.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm making a song, like I always like to have a meaning behind it. Like there always has to be a meaning behind all of my songs. Like, and a lot of the times it's just how I'm feeling in the moment. Either how I'm feeling in the moment, or just talking about things that I've been through, and telling my story in my songs. 'Cause sometimes it's a little bit harder to tell people with like straight words like this face to face sometimes, and just to put like how I feel between or into an instrumental. Sometimes people can kind of grasp to it, or like even like relate to it. You're like, oh wow, like yeah, okay, I feel you. Like I've been through the same thing, so you start understanding you a little bit more.
It's good to have those outlets. Every artist has their own way of doing things,
Yeah.
And it's good for you because the one thing I do notice about fighters is, well, one good thing that's happening with a lot of fighters now, like Sugar Sean O'Malley, or like those people who have other streams of income, and like fighting is not their only stream of income, and they have like an out, which is great.
Yeah.
You don't want to be just tied to only fighting. I think like someone who is talented as you
get so like
you can have other things, that bring more streams.
Yeah, fighting. I mean, that's just fighting is the main thing, but how do you build off of it?
Right.
Fighting is almost like an investment to me. I mean, I'm trying to turn this into something bigger than we ever thought. I mean, yeah, we can sit here and fight, but how long can you fight for?
Right.
We're here for a good time, not a long time. So what my whole thinking process is, what's gonna happen after the fight game? Like I said, once you hit around like 33, 34 in the fight game, if you're not winning, you're almost out the door. It only takes 3 losses in a row for you to get cut from the UFC. Sometimes even 2, depending on how you lose. So, I mean, having that backup plan or having something that you can fall onto or fall into and building off of it. Now, the couple of things I have is one, the music, and also the gym. So that's like I said previously, it's like I want to build the gym up, build it into something that we can have in our family name for a very long time. And yeah.
Are you going to so when it comes to the gym, do you guys plan on having you take over eventually?
That has to be the.
If you guys haven't had that discussion yet, it's probably like in the back of the mind.
Yeah, it's not the definitely in the back of in our minds. I mean, it's one of those things that we just kind of like, we know that's probably what's gonna happen
for sure. Yeah.
But
you do want to like take on that challenge as well too.
Yeah, I actually love coaching.
Okay.
Or like helping guys out. Because even though like I'm a little bit younger than these guys, I have guys older than me all the time come to me and ask me a bunch of questions. How to do a certain move or how to get in a comfortable place with fighting, and I just give them my advice. People are always looking for my advice, and I'm like, I'm always gonna be here for them.
Yeah.
Just like how they're there for me. So
I mean, you have experience. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you have the experience and the rap sheet to prove it, then people will trust you and get advice from you. Like.
Exactly. So I mean, that like I said, that's the plan to hopefully one day take over the gym and just keep building on it. I want to keep that gym in the family name for a long time. This is something that my dad started. And I just want to keep adding to it until we become one of those gyms that are well known.
Do you pay attention to the business side of Victory currently, or are you focused on other things?
A little bit, because I just I'll be in and out, so I know like the price range and everything like that. And sometimes I'll check in a customer who comes in who wants to learn a little bit more about the gym, and I'll go over a couple of things if my dad isn't there. But I haven't got into it only because I've been more focused on my fight game. Yeah. So I mean, when that time comes, definitely I know. Yeah,
and you can't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah, like, exactly.
Like that's what your dad's doing, and that's his job right now.
But I'm like, he's not telling me, but I watch and I listen. So I'm like, he may not think I'm paying attention, but I am.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay. So whenever he's like gone, he'll have me like run the class. Sometimes run like the sparring class nights, and just go little by little by little. I mean, I've cornered a lot of our fighters, helped my dad corner. I love cornering, being there for our fighters, and just seeing. I get more nervous for our fighters, like when I see one of our guys fight, than I do in my actual fight.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah, because you're not in control, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're like, but
it's still your team, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're just not in control or anything. So I mean, it's geez, man, fighting is so crazy. It's so crazy. But it's the best feeling once you Once you start winning, it's the best feeling. I mean, when you win in anything, it's the best feeling. But it's almost like a different feel because it's not like any traditional sport. It's not a team sport.
How long has fighting been around? Since as far as we know, right? It could be
Yeah.
the very first sport there ever was, right?
Exactly.
Wrestling and fighting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Going dating back all the way to the Roman days.
Yeah, it's primal, man.
Yeah.
There's something different about it.
Yeah.
That would probably the best thing for you to do for the gym would be to be victorious in what you're doing.
Yeah.
Not just for the namesake, but if you build a name that is massive, that trickles down into business, whatever you do in business, you know?
Yeah. And I also think another thing that plays a big factor is like having a coach that's been there and done that. You know, have you ever, like a lot of the times, you know, you go to a boxing gym or you go to an MMA gym and, you know, the coach, he's like big, he's never fought before, but he's good at holding mitts. So he doesn't really it's
like a dentist with bad teeth, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
Yeah.
how can you tell me what to do if you've never been in that situation? Like you can't really relate to me. So I think it's always good to have those type of coaches who are like who've been there and done that, so they understand like what it takes to get to the highest point. So
yeah, and I was actually just having this conversation on someone else's podcast that I was on, and it's interesting though because Michael Jordan's coach isn't doing what Michael Jordan is doing, but he says he gives it all to his coach, you know? So it's like...
I mean, that goes down to the sparring thing. If it works for you, then it works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
But for me, I would rather somebody coach me who knows
proven.
Who knows what I'm going through. Or
me too.
Yeah, so I mean, not only do they know the game, sometimes they know promotions, and they could get you into, you know, bigger things.
That's true. Yeah, like a manager almost.
Yeah, exactly. Which is kind of what my dad is. I mean, my dad. He finds all of his fighters' fights. Coaches all of them. Obviously, he's like
he knows the game. You know.
Yeah, he knows the game inside and out. He knows all these promoters. All these promoters know him. So you know, if you really were to if you wanted to get into the MMA scene,
go to Academy.
Yeah, exactly. Go to Academy at Victory MMA. And we'll get you squared away. But yeah, it's always good. It's always good to have those type of coaches in your corner.
Yeah, that's so awesome, man. This is such a great interview. So tell us a little bit more. I know you said your upcoming fight's December 18th, right?
Yeah.
Where's it at?
It's in Houston, Texas. So we're going to H-Town. Last time my fight was in was in San Antonio. So Texas is it's not foreign to me anymore. I mean, the weight cut is gonna be the same as it was last time. I don't know what the venue, where the venue is at, but yeah, definitely in Houston, Texas. On December 18th, I'll be fighting a guy named Christian Strong. 2-0, he's 2-0, I'm 1-0. So somebody's O has to go. Somebody's O has to go. So I mean, we're both young fighters, you know, have a lot to grow, and but I'll be lying to you if I didn't say I didn't feel confident in this fight. Like, I feel confident in every fight that I go in, but I feel super confident with this fight. This will be I never had a guy who came out and like really wrestled me like that. So this will be a good test to see where I'm at with my wrestling.
So he's a wrestler too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's his stronghold. He gets hit, but he's a good wrestler.
Do you think he's watched your stuff and is like does he think you're gonna go for the knockout, or
if he's smart? Yeah. I would hope he would look at my fights.
Yeah.
Because guess what I'm doing? The same thing. I do my studies. I do my my tape watching, and you know, just coming up with a good game plan for every single fighter. Like, I study my fighters. There's guys that like, I don't care who you put in front of me, I'm gonna fight. Right. I'm like, see, now me, I'm gonna get a little biased. I'm gonna be like, see, that's the old way of thinking. That's the old way of fighting. That's not very smart. You know, you gotta understand what type of weapons your opponent has. What's his strong points? What's his weak points? Where do you think you can get him at? So that's why I always look up all my fighters. Unless you're an amateur fighter about to fight an 0-0 guy, then I would be always looking up who I'm about to go against. You know, the only time that I probably wouldn't do that is if I'm on the main event of a UFC card and I know who this guy is. Like, I shouldn't have to do, like, say if I was light heavyweight and I was going against John Jones, I shouldn't have to do my homework on John Jones. I mean, obviously I'll do my
you're a fan of the sport, you know?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'll do my homework on John Jones, but we know what he does. You know, like those big fighters. So, but when it comes to like these unknown guys, you know, look them up. You know, their fights are gonna. That's the beauty about the fight game now, is that all these fights are on YouTube.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you go back, like when my dad was fighting, like he started like fighting around like 08, 09, something like that. It was hard to find video clips or your fighters. But now we're in 2022, about to be 2023.
Everyone's posting it. You know?
Everyone's posting it. Everybody has Instagram. I mean, these leagues, these promotions, you know, they're putting out videos. It's all there for you. It's all there for you. It's how you train, how you prepare. So that's what's coming up. December 18th, that's going to be, somebody's hands is going to be raised. Yeah. And if you ask me, you're looking at him. This guy is going to be victorious.
Oh, man.
You're representing Colorado Springs, man.
Yeah, we got to go. We got to get out there, Andrew.
I'm actually considering it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no. Not only that, but like you said, you know, Colorado Springs, a lot of guys, they go up to Denver. Some guys go to Pueblo, but a lot of the big guys, you don't really hear a lot of big guys making it from Colorado Springs. So I like to carry that weight on my shoulder. Like, I feel like people are skipping us. Like, they're skipping the Springs.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna play it cool, and put I want to put the Springs on the map. You know, show them like we have talent. We have the talent here. There's guys who are, you know, coming up. You know, you can make it from the Springs. You don't have to go to a big gym. You can get it right here. Yeah. Right here. And if you ask me, I feel like me and my dad, I mean, my dad was the first to start off. So now I'm just going to keep building off of it.
I agree. Yeah.
Keep building off of it.
That's our goal too. You know, we want to help build up the Springs and help let people know that we are a town that has great things and great things coming. Like, that's kind of our goal. Like, if we can help uplift other businesses in the community, that helps us achieve that, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Said, that's the whole plan, is to, you know, build up each other, build up the community, let everybody see that, you know, we have some great people in Colorado Springs, and we're coming up big. We're coming up really big. Yeah.
So if this was a clip right here of you promoting your fight, how would you do that?
How would I do that?
Camera's right here.
Put me on the video on the spot.
Let's do it, bro.
All right. My name is Elijah Smith, fighting out of Victory MMA, out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. If you want to see an action-packed fight, somebody from your hometown he could be living right next to you, seeing him on the big screen, December 18th. Just wait and watch, and you will see Elijah Smith victorious.
Yes, so if you're watching this, Gilbert, make sure to leave a comment and talking crap. No, I'm just kidding. All right, this has been the COS Business Podcast, and I'm looking at his camera. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more awesome episodes of great entrepreneurs.